bushels to 5,000 bushels. We haven't filled these things in a long time. We decided we're going to put the winter wheat over here in these, finish out our winter wheat. We're at 45,000, almost 50,000 bushel storage right here. That'll be enough to finish out our winter wheat. And then we're going to save that last big West Steel 30,000 bushel bin for the spring wheat. Because that'll hold most all of it, not all of it, most all of it. So that's what we're doing. So we're filling the small guys. At least they got aeration though, that's good. Oh, it's a hot day. Hot day. Trevor Bales would even sweat today. It's like 90 degrees. That's a hot day for Trevor. Hot day.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi. We're just taking a ride and going into the Eagle truck. I'll show you around it.
We'll grab a couple more things and you guys can head in there.
Okay. We're going into this truck. And we came from that truck. We're in our secret base. Hello.
Go look at here. Look right there.
Hello. Oh yeah.
Why do you have your swimming suit on there, buddy?
Guys, who wants to see the very dark? Can you see anything? So we just saw a porcupine. Well, yeah, a porcupine. It was so cool. We'll make proof. I'll show you. Okay. See that little thing? That's it. We sticked it in it so I could see it. So we could see it. Oh, I forgot to tell you where we were. We're in the brown truck that we call the Eagle truck. The Eagle truck, yeah. I don't know where we are. I'm pretty hot in here. So, rabbit!
Rabbit? Hey, it's Jackrabbit.
There's a rabbit over there in front of us.
See that Jackrabbit?
I see it, but the people don't see it. Oh.
There. Okay, it's a good 90 degrees, wind 30 miles an hour, maybe a little bit more at times. But evidently it must have blown up some fires. We've got a really smoky area coming. The atmosphere is getting very, very smoky. First time this summer, which is very unusual for the last 5 years to 8 years or 10 years. Seems like by the August we're going to have some smoke. We've had fairly clear skies because we had a cooler and wetter July, but it looks like August is going to finish out like a regular August, but it's a hazy, crazy days of summer. Emphasis on hazy. It's been a strange harvest, guys. This has been different. This has been really different. I've been not in the combine. This is great. Got Dad and Brandon running the combines, and we got Brad, the Wiggly Wagster. He's here now. He's running trucks. So Leg Arms and I have been doing a lot of our own stuff, keeping combines going, keeping grain flowing into the bins, working on augers and combines. And I've now really started to transition to running sprayer. Got just enormous weed pressure going on. Now that the crop's coming off, there's a huge flush of weeds under there. So I'm trying to just nail it as much as I can. A lot of acres to cover to get caught up with these guys. There's a lot of heat now and a lot of moisture in the ground, so things are happening fast. What that does mean, though, is I'm not getting the cool harvest footage that I usually would get for you guys. So, but with the bud out of commission now, because it's going to the Farm Progress Show, I guess the cool footage isn't even there anyway. So we'll have what we got, and we'll see what this fall brings us. But not that harvest videos are over. I just can't guarantee how much I'll be involved with them until I get this spraying caught up on, which is going to take me a while. There's a pile of acres to spray, so I'm working on it.
It's always good to replace your feeder chain bar. Maybe all of them at the same time. Yeah, it blew apart. This wasn't the one that we just put in this year. This is the other combine. It literally blew apart. Only one chain was holding on out of 4 chains, so it was mangled up in there, cut it out, pulled it out, and waiting for the new chain to be here. We don't have the time to mess around with trying to add links and splice that one together. And to be honest, I don't want to, because I just know that we're gonna have more problems if we try to do that. Best just to put a new chain in it, because we still have 2,000 acres of spring wheat to cut through. So anyways, gotta love it. Gotta love it. It's always something. But yeah, it's these rocks. Every once in a while you get a rock that goes in the feeder house, and it takes a beating, and I think it stressed this chain enough. And the sad thing is I couldn't find a rock. There's a couple of bent bars, but this thing was pretty mangled in there. So was it bent because it got mangled and it decided to chew itself up? I think so. I think it was just a matter of time for it to crater. Today was the day to crater. But B-spine, you're gonna get a new chain. Hopefully soon.
We are now on the last piece of winter wheat. We saved this field last because we wanted to not have to move the auger again. This is a new variety for us. It's called, it's from Montana State University, Warcat, and right now it's doing around 35, 36. It's our best winter wheat field this year. It was on summer fallow, chem fallow, and it's really good ground. This is really good ground, but as you can see, a lot different than the recrop pea ground that got hurt with the moisture. But like I said, this is really good ground, but we're cutting anywhere from 29 over the hilltops to 52 right now, a constant 52, and this is kind of a low area where it's kind of a water hole if you get enough water, but it's just good ground, and it's kind of nice to finish the winter wheat having to cut slower and know that the grain tank is filling up faster. But the problem is for Kobe, do you notice the problem? He's waiting for me to give him the answer. It's too thick to see rabbits. Yep. No rabbits? Huh? You want to see a rabbit or a coyote or a gopher or something like that? Huh? But he still likes the enjoyment of the ride, so we'll finish this and then it's on to spring wheat. Okay, we started the spring wheat now. It's doing around 30 to 34 on this field. It's a lot taller than I thought it would be. It's really big kernels. It's got a lot of good test weight, looks like. Quality as far as protein, I'm not sure yet. It does have decent color, and I guess I'm getting full.
So we officially switched over to spring wheat, got done with winter wheat, which is awesome. We've got about 3 loads in here. 3 loads, this is the, yeah. Oh yeah, we got some wheat in here, as you can tell. Oh, it's dusty too. Oh, right against the eyeballs. All right, so they're up north cutting. It seems to be doing pretty well, and to be honest, the quality of the wheat, spring wheat, is actually very astonishing. It's plump, pretty good size, and considering the year, it's actually doing fairly well. So yeah, color looks good too. Now as far as protein, I don't know what the protein is going to be, hard to say. But Nick's out spraying, so my job My job is drive truck, get water for Nick, make sure that the combines are going, basically fixer guy. I'm all over the place. Got a lot going on. That's okay. We're getting there. Getting closer to being done. That's the key. Now that I'm trucking back and forth, you know, this repeat, this 377 Peterbilt, it's probably the most enjoyable one to drive out of 3 of the trucks that we have. We got the 9370, which is a classic, and it's a beautiful truck. And it brings you back to the 80s, like, you feel like you're in the 80s when you're driving that truck, and you can't beat that feeling. That's a really neat feeling in there. But I would say this 377 is probably my favorite to run, and a couple reasons. It's got a little bit of a cab air suspension on it. It's got airbags on it, and so it rides real smooth. Turning radius is really good. Visibility is really good. Our other Peterbilt, our old Peterbilt, that's got spring suspension on it. It's rough to drive. It just bounces and hits hard, but it runs good, and that's it's a good truck. The 9370 has airbags in the back, and it rides smooth. It really does. But visibility, it's not as easy. Turning radius is not very good. It's just the way it's designed. So, but then you got the different motors. Well, this one's got, since we swapped the engine over, it's got that 3406B cat, so mechanical injection pump on it, tuned up a little bit. It's a fun truck to run. Runs really good, actually. And then the 9370 is obviously a big cam 3, and that thing's tuned up pretty good. That's a fun engine. It's probably the more powerful one out of the 3 trucks that we have. And then we have a computer-controlled 1014 Select in the old Peterbilt, and that one is probably, what was it, 4.25 horsepower? Yeah, 425 horsepower, I think is what we thought it was. Or no, not what we thought. We got the ECM rebuilt because it was having problems, and they managed to get the data off it, and it was 4.25, so. But anyways, man, something about this 3rd and 4th gear in this transmission, it likes to pop out of it. I don't know if that's a D10 spring that's bad. I got to pull the shifter off and then take a look at it. Maybe a ball bearing popped out when we were doing the engine swap, or a D10 spring's not even in there. I don't know, but it likes to pop out of those two. So, other than that, good solid truck. This has got the 18 speed in it, by the way. And then let's see, International has a 13 speed, and the old Peterbilt has a 9 speed. All even fullers. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. You guys probably didn't care to hear that. But some of you guys love to hear that kind of stuff. But it runs good. It runs really good. Well, got a call. It's always a call. So, air cleaner's got an air cleaner alarm on one of them, so I think we probably need a filter change. So I went and cleaned both of our spare filters here. They'll come up there and we'll put them on. Thankfully the combines have a pre-filter, so that way if I don't get these things perfectly clean, well, the combine's still protected. I wish this thing had a pre-cleaner. The filter that's on it still gets dust through it, so that's not good. But we're in spring wheat, thankfully, and I think yields are, I mean, some of them are better than the winter wheat. I don't know the exact details on numbers yet, but could be some 30s in some areas. The field we're in right now, it could be our best field. It's always been a good performing field. It's in a good area that typically gets a little more rainfall than where the rest of our farm is. So maybe it's pushing mid 30s, high 30s. That'd be awesome. But the rest of it, it'll probably be in the high 20s. So still better than last year, but not terrific. And I'm not spraying, thankfully. It got kind of hot out, got a little breezy. I called it for the day. So I'm gonna start running trucks, I think. And Leg Arms and I will be the truckers. I do love the look of a
freshly sprayed post-harvest field. That was all green yesterday. Now it's turned all brown. That's a good look. Like I said in the past, I don't like the color brown. It's a bad color. In fact, I like the color green a lot, believe it or not. I think I'd like red better, but plants usually don't look red. But when it comes to weeds, brown is a good color. Very good color. Don't like green with weeds. Brown. Brown and dead. All right, well, Dad said it's yielding good 30s. Good 30s. So what's that mean? Like low 30s? Probably low 30s. So we'll take it. We'll take it. Let's throw an air cleaner and beast bind, keep Brandon rolling, and we'll all run over to Clifford and toss one in that too while we're at it, because I cleaned them both, so we might as well get them both in there. See all this right here? Looks like someone made a road through our field. Actually, what that is a local co-op's burying fiber optic around the county. They had a big grant a while back to let them do that, so they are slowly running it across Lotus. We actually don't need it at our place because we've got fiber nearby that was already there for cell towers, but it's nice to see some fiber get around, even though with Starlink and all this other stuff, maybe that'll become obsolete, but I think it's always a good backup to have stuff in the ground.
Yeah, this is leaning to the north, surprisingly, but it's running around 70 to 90.
Wow, must have just been a low spot there. Got a little more moisture. Anyways, so but there's an easement. We get paid for damages, so it works out okay. And plus, I don't mind having fiber around the county. Oh, it feels good to see some good wheat. Oh, it's just amazing. So nice. Just the combine operators love it. Header doesn't have to drag the ground, don't throw out rocks. Stuff just flows and moves nicely. It's just so nice. So next year, whole farm gonna look like this. 100%. Nice. 40 bushel spring wheat, 50 bushel winter wheat's coming. You just wait, it's coming. We're gonna fill every bin on the farm and piled on the ground after that. Walking around behind Clifford here, it's doing a good job. I mean, there's a kernel right there. I am not seeing much grain on the ground. It is doing an excellent job keeping it in the combine and threshing too. I'll show you in a second the tank, but oh, it is clean. Looks really good. Combination of good moisture, good combine settings, good combine operator, and the mad concaves. I think they're doing a big difference on how that's running. But this spring wheat here, it got shorted with rain this spring, but it was still young enough that when the rain finally came, it made really plump kernels, just full heads, and they're plump. So it's not like really heavy yield like it could have been because the plant got stressed and wasn't able to produce. But what it did have, it filled out nicely. And big kernels makes a world of difference going through a combine. Oh, shriveled kernels that have been baked in there, droughted in, not fun to harvest, hard to get out. Get a lot on thrash heads. So no white caps here, it's looking good. Careful. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Really nice looking wheat. Good color. I bet it's gonna have high protein. Look at that threshing job. Not bad for an old machine. A little bit of unthreshed on the sides here, but oh, I remember days where it was just almost whole unthreshed heads. This is awesome. It's good stuff. Well, like that, combine's back in the shop. Thresher unit's starting to vibrate really bad, making a ticking sound. Something's out of balance in there. Paddles could be wore out, could be a bearing, I don't know yet. I kind of heard a sound a couple days ago when watching it. It's getting worse. So, Brandon backed it up. He's gonna park it, and I guess we're gonna do what we do best, and that's start tearing into it, find out what's going on here. So this isn't the first refresher we've had to rebuild. The Clipper we did a couple years ago, it was about ready to break off. We got it all fixed and put it back on there. Been a lot of repairs this year. Been a lot of combine breakdowns. A lot. Amazing. But, you know, they're getting to be higher hour machines. That's just kind of what happens. So, let's get to work. We're pulling the cover off. We're going to find out
It's not we, Nick. It's me.
Well.
But you can be included in this.
Give it. No. There.
Yeah.
I helped. While you're doing that one, I'm going to get a light.
Maybe this is a good time to fetch belt on the other side, too.
Can. Or we just keep running it until it pops. It's not a hard belt to change. It's pretty easy. I was thinking they were pretty tough. They're actually really simple.
There's one more on that other side I got to pull off.
There's grease all over the back side of this thing. There.
Okay.
All right. We replaced a couple of these wheels.
This one looks good.
I don't know which one's replaced. One of these, the bearing went out and we replaced it. I thought it was that one. It's that top that was really vibrating.
I'm feeling some...
This is my plate I put on there. Let's do let's look in the top here and see what we got.
That's just material. My hands are up there, so
well, it's all broke out around this whole plate here. You can see that the bearing looks good.
okay, so that's just...
I mean, that paddle's wore. There's chunks of peas all over it.
See the paddle?
Yeah.
Those look good on this side.
I don't see any sign of wear other than
I mean, there's buildup on the...
it is all cracked out up here.
Ready?
Yep. I mean, that ticking sound, I was wondering if maybe the paddle's hitting the part of the metal's peeling up and it's ticking where I welded that plate on. But
One of these, I welded a plate to help support.
I mean, is this gearbox up here going bad? Doesn't look like it. Well, we found it. Back bearing shot.
Yep, I feel it.
That's what's vibrating. So we got to fix that bearing right there, which, can we do that without taking the refresher off? Got to take that pulley off, got to take the beater out, or the paddle wheel, or whatever you want to call it.
That's easy to do, because
Can you
take the belt off, take this plate here, take those 2 or 3 bolts that hold the bearing housing, and you should just pop it right out.
And you can reach, you have to go to the back side to get the nuts.
Get those nuts, yeah.
All right.
We should be able to pull it straight out. At least that's what it looks like.
Okay.
So we'll remove that belt. We did not mean to do that.
That one. There. And that has caused, by that vibrating, it's breaking here. It's breaking there.
Sure that's a problem, Nick?
It's breaking. Is it not wore out? Did we just take that off for no reason?
No, it's wore out.
It's like a widget spinner or fidget.
That looks nasty. It's like pulling a scab off.
Gross.
Yum.
And then but the worst part though, it's gonna really stink is that entire backside there's all cracked out. So we're gonna have to try to patch that. I think we're gonna try to do it without taking this whole thing off.
I think we're gonna try to bandage it.
Okay.
So we can get through harvest.
Well, Leg Arms just finished torching off the bearing, and I've been digging in the back just to see if we happen to have a bearing in there, and I came across this. Is this bad, guys? Are we
So close.
Are we being? I mean, is this gonna really upset somebody if we do this? I don't want you to break your TV or your phone or your Xbox or whatever you're watching this on, but this is really close to the one that was on there. I mean, it's not yellow and green, so as long as you don't look at that and pretend that that doesn't exist, you'd never know, right?
Man, I'm so glad that this doesn't have a color on it, you know?
Should I, just in case there's people watching this, so there's no evidence, just, you know, I don't want, hey, stop it.
I'm trying to help it.
Stop it. I don't want people to know that we're doing this.
I'm trying to help.
Oh, I have a better idea.
He's a monster. It's not funny. Kind of is, actually.
This is some serious taboo right here. This is how we painted the big bud if you guys were watching the videos. Just like this. I'll just set this right here, let that dry. No one will ever know. I think it is a little tighter, isn't it? We need a bit of a hammer.
Oh my. Either somebody used to work at the JD and then switched over.
I'm sure they're a pretty common bearing. Probably sourced from the same company. But it's just the box that I was worried about. We fixed that. Did you spray it with WD-40?
Put anti-seize on it.
Oh, that works. Yeah, that's a good feeling bearing. I don't really know if I've ever felt a bearing quite that nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is nice.
See what I mean? Like, they're normally not that nice of a bearing.
Should we even be using this? Yeah, we should use it.
Now we know why it was so nice.
Second day of spring wheat harvest. We're cutting a really nice field. It's going anywhere from 27 to 41 bushels an acre. So it's just really nice, easy to cut, high, nothing at all like what we've been harvesting most all this harvest. And that brings up a point. Read some of the comments on the last few videos in the harvest, and a number of comments are saying, you know, why do you guys keep going if you can't raise crops, or you know, why don't you get irrigation, or you know, you just maybe that area shouldn't be farmed. Well, I need to give you guys a little bit of a previous history of the last 5 years so that you kind of get this in perspective. From 2016, I'm just going to go back then, it was way before then, but let's just say 2016 to 2019, we've had average or just above average crops. 16 was much above average. Well, then we come into 2020, and in 2020, and then 21, and then 22, we received the 40% of our crop was hailed out. In 21, 50-some% was hailed out, and 60% in 22. Well, they were decent years. We would have, you know, they were going to be average years, or, you know, just maybe a little bit above average. So that really, you know, hampered our production. Well, then in 23, that's when the drought really started anchoring in this area. In 23, a lot of area was dry. Then last year, 24, we started again dry, and the yields were going down about half of normal. And then this year, very much all the early seeded crop was hurt severely because of the not much rainfall, just showers in the month of April and May and into June, part of June. And that's our main growing weather. It's not normal. So we have then, you know, tried to, you know, manage our, you know, our farming thereof. But that's why if you're seeing like these last number of years, you just guys don't do much production, it's because we've been hit with climatic, environmental changes, you know, hail. That was unheard of. I've never had 3 years of that bad of hail. You always got, you know, can always get 1 year of bad, but not 3 years in a row. And so that was, you know, that was devastating. And then, you know, you're always going to get a drought in this country. We're in a dry area, and especially our location in what we call the Golden Triangle, which is northern Montana. We're probably the driest of that whole region. and we just haven't had good submoisture. So, saying that, back in 2015, we decided to incorporate other crops into our cropping rotation, i.e. mostly yellow peas, because it fits very well in this area, and we were doing fairly well. But the problem with that is that you have the ground seeded with wheat, then the next year you seed it with peas, and then the next year is wheat, and then we chem follow. That was our rotation. Well, in that, you take a hit when you seed wheat after the peas, just because the peas take the top moisture. They don't really take the submoisture, so if you have some decent submoistures, it's minimal as far as the loss of production. Well, the last couple years, we have not had rains that produce submoisture, just, the top moisture. Well, consequently, then when we seeded the wheat, it is devastating. Well, this year, even the peas got devastated because they need decent rainfall in April and May, and then they can finish fairly well. Well, it didn't get that. So that's why when you see we're cutting like 5 bushel an acre peas, why are you guys doing that? That's because we were in that rotation, but we had no help from rainfall. And it was much below during that time rainfall. So anyway, so we're cutting this field right here. You see what it's making. It was chem followed last year, and that's why a lot of our area, we farm half the land one year, the other half lays idle, but you got to take care of the weeds. So you either got to plow it, or you got to use chemicals to take care of the weeds. But the problem with plowing it in this country is that we don't work with a lot of organic matter, and every time you plow or cultivate, that soil structure in that 4 inches or 5 inch area is that you induce more oxygen into the soil profile, which encourages the microorganisms to go to have big parties of eating all that organic residue and converting it. Well, you really need organic matter in the soil structure to help for the percolation of water into the soil, so it's not so hard. And then also, it as far as having more available of your nutrients. If you go back to plowing, I know what that's like because we plowed for 40, 50, 60, 70 years in some of these fields, and our land was deteriorating big time. So when chemicals came into play, I saw a big change in our land. It was going the other way as far as positively, because we were not incorporating that organic matter. We were keeping it on that upper part of the soil profile, which helped the rain, helped limit evaporation, and the soil was becoming more desirable. So I don't want to go back to plowing, but it looks like we're going to probably have to give up rotating essence peas in our operation, because until we can get some more rain and the climate, environmental changes so that it becomes more normal, we're going to face this. So I think we made the decision that next year we're not going to grow peas. I think we're going to just go in a crop chem follow half rotation, 50% cropping, 50% chem follow. So anyway, that's kind of what we've been facing. It was a decision we thought that could work well, but with dry conditions, it's way worse. And so that's what we're facing. The thing is that it always takes a year to get back into that rotation, because we have a couple thousand acres of peas that was harvested this year, which is going to be recropped next year. Now, we might get some decent moisture and there won't be much effect. Or if it's another dry year, a cycle, yeah, we're gonna, on those acres, we're gonna feel a yield loss as far as potential. But that hasn't been written yet, so we'll go into next year and say, as the farmers usually are, they're hopeful that this is the year that it'll turn around, and I believe it should be our turn, and we can turn it around with the help of the Lord, bring in a little more rain. Anyway, just a little insight into why we've been facing these last 4 years, almost 5 years, it seems like some hardship in the crop. All right, I've dragged you guys along long enough. So let's get back to harvesting.